I've been documenting my startup journey for more than half a year now, but there's a lot I haven't shown you. Building a startup is sold as this intellectual challenge. Pick a market, build a product, find customers. But the truth is, it's actually mostly a spiritual challenge. When there's no boss to blame, no system to hide behind, you're only left with yourself. And that can be confronting. So this episode is different. It's about what happened between a mountain in Switzerland, a breakdown in Helsinki, and a jungle in Costa Rica. What those experiences taught me about why I actually do this, and a question that might change how you look at your own actions. The same thing that makes me want to build a company makes me want to climb mountains. This pull towards things that are hard, that test you, this need to pursue something, a summit, a goal, even when you're not sure you'll make it. This time it was the Swiss Alps, 5 days with my dad, and we didn't pick an easy route. The mountains teach you perseverance. When you are halfway through the journey of the day, exhausted, your body and mind say no, there's no plan B. You cannot go back, you cannot stay where you are, and no matter how daunting and impossible this journey ahead may seem, you have to push through, one step at a time. The mountains teach you presence. They don't allow for mistakes. You have to be fully in the moment. Think about every step you're taking and every move you're making. And it is in those present moments where you feel fully alive. The mountains teach you humility. They help you recognize how limited and finite you are as a human being, that you cannot do it all, and that sometimes, instead of climbing one more summit, it's better to retreat and recuperate. In a way, mountaineering is a great analogy of building a business and even of life in general. Coming up against your limitations and figuring out how to respond is precisely what makes a life meaningful and satisfying. Our suffering is believing there's a way out. But life, and in particular building a business from scratch, is an unending series of complications. So it doesn't make sense to be surprised by the arrival of the next one. And it makes even less sense to expect that there will be some point in time where you won't have to face any problems at all. To quote Oliver Berkman, "If I no longer have to fight against the sheer fact of encountering problems, because that's a battle I never win, I get to dive more fully into the problems I actually have. I no longer have to remain in the posture of trying to get the present out of the way en route to the problem-free future. And I'm free to aspire not to a life without problems, but to a life of ever more interesting and absorbing ones." Beyond the mountains are always more mountains, and in the meantime, few things are more exhilarating than mountaineering. There was this moment in Munich that kind of set the stage for what was coming. I was invited to a panel discussion at a startup conference, and I had food poisoning, really bad food poisoning. I was backstage, haven't slept the whole night, was sweating and feeling like shit, and had to talk on stage for 45 minutes. I got through it, no one really noticed a thing, but that was the start of a rough month. My relationship ended. And the pressure I was putting on myself, combined with everything else, stressed me out to the point where I couldn't really eat anymore. I lost 6 kilos within a few weeks. On top of that, I injured my shoulder, couldn't train properly anymore. That's also when I realized how much the gym has actually given me, not just fitness, but also structure and regulation. And with the injury, that was gone too. It all kind of peaked in 1 week in November. A few days after the breakup, shoulder hurting worse than ever, I flew to Helsinki for Slush, one of the biggest startup conferences in the world, to make sales for public. And during that same week, we got invited to the Y Combinator interview, which we had to prepare for. It is Wednesday night, after a long day at Slush, where I closed 2 more customers. I'm sitting here in my cozy Finnish Airbnb, prepping for the YC interview tomorrow with my little helper. And yeah, life is pretty crazy. So much going on at once. And I'm pretty exhausted, but also very hyped about the richness of emotions and things I'm currently experiencing. The startup journey truly is a roller coaster. I got through it. Not barely, not by grinding my teeth and forcing myself. I actually felt alive in this moment. There was something that felt right about being tested like that. That week was exhausting, yes, but it also made me so much stronger, and I wanted to understand why. I started getting coaching again, bi-weekly sessions with someone I trust. Just having that mirror, someone to reflect with, that helps a lot. I also got back into doing breathwork more regularly, one of the most simple but powerful things to regulate your mind and body. And then I flew to Costa Rica, first to spend time with my parents, which after a month of chaos was exactly what I needed. Then I went into the jungle, alone, a plant medicine retreat in the middle of nowhere. On my drive to the retreat, this side project that we built at the hackathon in the last video started to blow up and make money. I remember cruising through sketchy dirt roads in the middle of nowhere and seeing one Stripe notification after the other pop up on my phone. My first proper internet dollars, passively earned through something I built. A very cool feeling and also a very interesting timing, just a few moments before going offline for a couple of days. I'm not going to go into all the details of the retreat, some of it is hard to put into words, but it was one of the most intense and beautiful experiences of my life. My biggest realization was this. These past few years I had been running, not just working hard, running. And some of that running was coming from fear. Fear of losing momentum, of not being enough, of falling into something grey and mediocre and having the future depart without me. Fear works as a driver for a while, but it's not sustainable. It wears you out. It's what leads to your body breaking down, to not being able to eat, to relationships falling apart. What I understood in the jungle is that the drive doesn't have to come from there. I think I always knew this somewhere, but I didn't want to look at it, because I was scared that if I let go of fear, I would lose the drive too, like they were the same thing. But they're not. My drive can come from love, from curiosity, from genuine excitement about what I'm building and who I'm becoming. And those two things, drive from fear versus drive from love, they can look exactly the same from the outside, same long hours, same ambition, same intensity, but they feel completely different on the inside. One depletes you, the other fills you up. When I strip away all the noise, all the pressure and the goals, deep down, I'm not doing it for status or money or to prove something. I'm doing it because giving gives me energy. I just want to share, love and inspire. But for that to work, my own glass has to be full first. Taking care of myself isn't selfish. It's what allows me to give. They are not in conflict, they are the same thing. I can have drive and peace at the same time. Bring energy to what I give, bring patience to what I receive. And from that place, everything feels possible. I recently read something that stuck with me. When people see your aura glowing and your spirit at ease, they assume peace came easy. They miss the discipline. They miss the fire. They miss the long nights where choices were made that shaped your backbone. Keeping your soul intact inside a chaotic world demands fierce inner resolve. The calm they see comes from battles already faced and won. Behind the stillness lies the strength of a warrior. Building my own business is the ultimate way of self-improvement, because it forces me to face those battles in every way imaginable. From how well I manage myself and how well I manage others, to my ability to solve problems, to how well I can focus, execute, self-analyze and think long-term. It stretches my identity, it pushes my limits, and it also shows me my limits, that I cannot do it all. Beyond the mountains, more mountains. That thought used to stress me out. Now I find it weirdly comforting, because if the problems never end, then I can stop waiting for this perfect moment where everything is finally figured out and start fully enjoying the process instead. The pursuit, the breakdown, the breakthrough. That's not a line you walk once, it's a constant loop. And each loop can either wear you down or make you stronger. That depends on what's fueling you through each of those loops. Where is your drive coming from? Is it fear? Fear of not being enough? Fear of being ordinary? Fear of what happens when you slow down? Or is it love? Love for the work, love for the people you're helping, love for the person you're becoming. Because both will make you run, but only one will let you rest.